Ladies and gentlemen, I'm weirdly emotional about what I'm about to say, but welcome to my predictions of John Cena's final show. These are my official predictions of the Saturday night's main event, December 13th edition, that will feature John Cena's last match ever of his entire career. We're gonna go through the entire card as it's currently announced. I'm gonna tell you who I think is gonna win, why I think they're gonna win, and where storylines, if any, can go from here. I say if any because there really aren't any storylines going into this show. It's predominantly just exhibition matches, and the one match with a story is about a retirement which shouldn't have a follow-up. I still can't believe we're here, that we're talking genuinely about John Cena's final match. In case you didn't know, I am going to be at the event, so if you see me, make sure you come say hi. I'm sure we can trauma bond about seeing our childhood hero calling it quits. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I'm incredibly confident that you are going to fall in love with this YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. And if the daily wrestling content here just simply is not enough, consider coming over to the Patreon, patreon.com/SantiZab, where we are currently about to finish the John Cena World Championship Series, where we are watching and ranking every single John Cena World Championship win and World Championship loss. Go check it out. Once the series is done later this week, it's going to be a total of 34 videos for you to be able to binge through. That, of course, will be over on patreon.com/SantiZap, link in the description, link in the pinned comment. All right, that's enough. Let's get to predicting John Cena's retirement show at Saturday night's main event. Let's start things off by talking about the World Tag Team Championship match between the champions AJ Styles and Dragon Lee taking on NXT superstar Javon Evans and TNA X Division champion Leon Slater. You may have caught that I said that this is for the World Tag Team Championships. That has now been confirmed and advertised by WWE themselves. When this match was originally announced, I thought it was just going to be an exhibition match for the sake of having the best possible tag team match that you can make, and now they've added some extra juice, some extra stakes into it, and it is now officially a World Tag Team Championship match. Which I'm actually not gonna lie, I wish they didn't do that, because now that I know it's for the tag titles, I'm incredibly confident in the result. Had it just been an exhibition match, a showcase of amazing, crazy good tag team wrestling, then I think it would have been a little bit more unpredictable and a lot more up in the air. That being said, I do think that WWE absolutely made the right decision in making this match. One, I'm glad that AJ Styles is being featured in John Cena's retirement show. This is a soulmate of John Cena's wrestling career. In fact, I would dare say that he gave John Cena the best match by far of his retirement tour and some of the best matches of his entire career, period. So when you're a guy like that, that's that intertwined with John Cena's legacy, you absolutely deserve a spot on the show. Now, when it comes to the future, all the other guys that are in this match, including AJ Styles' partner, Dragon Lee, really personify that. I mean, how many times on WWE TV have you heard WWE say that Dragon Lee is the future of Lucha Libre, and if he's the future, well, then he's perfect to be on a show where they're supposed to be showcasing the future, right? And then there's Javon Evans and Leon Slater. I'm going to give some tremendously high praise here to specifically Javon Evans, but I think this goes to Leon Slater as well. I think that Javon Evans is absolutely the future of all of professional wrestling. I don't just think that he's going to be big in the industry. I think he's going to be landscape changing in the way that Steph Curry changed the game of the NBA, where now everybody grows up wanting to become a three-point sharpshooter. I think that by the time we get to like 2050, everyone that gets into independent wrestling is going to try and be emulating Javon Evans' style. I think Javon Evans is going to be the Steph Curry of professional wrestling. And we'll see to what heights Leon Slater gets to, but Leon Slater is from that same mold in terms of style of professional wrestling. And if both of these guys can reach megastardom, then I am so certain of that prediction that the future of professional wrestling and up and coming kids that are getting into professional wrestling now are going to be trying to emulate these two for the next several decades. So yes, Dragon Lee being in this is a great idea. Javon Evans being in this is a great idea. They're both future big stars in the WWE, you could say. And then there's Leon Slater, who pretty much is all but guaranteed to be signing with the WWE, considering it feels like he's appearing on NXT WWE TV more than he's appearing on TNA TNA, but this is such a big deal. WWE, on what I think could be their most viewed show of the entire year, this John Cena retirement, is choosing to feature somebody that is technically from their competition, TNA Wrestling, the X Division champion Leon Slater. And to me, that is a huge vote of confidence. One, two, of course, Leon Slater, but of course, WWE's view of the relationship that they have with TNA, that they're willing to immortalize a TNA guy on this show like they immortalize a TNA guy at a WrestleMania. I use the word immortalize because people are going to be coming to this show over and over again over the next several decades as they relive the ending of John Cena's career, and TNA X Division champion Leon Slater is going to be stamped right on that DVD cover. So, okay, I think the match is a great idea, but I also just think that this match is going to be a contender for the best match of the year. I am saving my match of the year video and all of the awards that I do at the end of the year, specifically because I want to see how this match ends up going, because I wanted to make sure that this match was in consideration, because the talent in this match has enough talent to put on a match of the 2020s if they really wanted to. And what's nice about Saturday night's main event as a whole, this particular edition of it, is that because they're not on NBC, there's no time restrictions. So I'm not concerned that this match is only going to be like 6 or 8 minutes long. I didn't say 6 or 7, okay? 6 or 8 minutes long because of time restrictions. Now I think that any and all of these matches can go for 15, 20 plus minutes. And I sincerely hope that they give this match in particular a good runway of time to be able to work with, because they could genuinely put on a spectacle of professional wrestling. Now, I said earlier that putting the tag titles on the line to me kind of spoils this, but I think it only spoils it for like me and for the hardcore viewers of professional wrestling that follow NXT and WWE. And I think it's probably most of you that watch this video as well. Like if you're watching a wrestling YouTuber, I would consider you a hardcore WWE fan in that regard. And it kind of spoils it for us because you know that Javon Evans is embroiled deep in a singles feud going for the world championship over at NXT with everything that's going on with Ricky Saints, with Femi. You got Leon Slater, who's trying to become a single star in NXT as well. He's got a #1 contendership opportunity coming up. And I think that I just don't see NXT pairing up Leon Slater and Javon Evans anymore. Have we been talking about a couple of months ago when they were a proper tag team? Then yeah, I would think that there might be a possibility, but we are talking about two singles guys at the moment that are both having their eyes on singles prizes. So putting the world tag team titles on these guys genuinely makes no sense. And I don't think that WWE has any plans on calling up Javon Evans or Leon Slater anytime soon. Maybe they give them the titles to do some quick, high pace, high profile matches on Monday Night Raw here or there, since they are so keen on elevating the Raw tag team division as we've seen as of late. But I don't think that's going to end up being the case. I think that this is going to be AJ Styles and Dragon Lee's to win. Again, it's a shame that they put the world tag team titles on this. It kind of spoils it. So I'm going to go with what I think is the very logical decision, to go with AJ Styles and Dragon Lee as the winners and still your world tag team champions. WrestleMania 42 tickets are officially on sale, and I'm sure that you've already heard that the ticket prices are rather steep. And I do plan on going to both nights of the show. However, I intend to make sure that I get the best possible prices. And I'll be doing that thanks to today's video sponsor, SeatGeek. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app, and for very good reason. There are more than 70,000 events already listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sporting events, festivals, and of course, wrestling shows. And with SeatGeek, you can be certain that you're going to be getting the absolute best price for whatever seat that you want at whatever show you plan to attend. All WWE premium shows, as well as Raw and SmackDown tickets, are all available on SeatGeek too. So make sure that you stop by there first before you buy your tickets to ensure that you get the best possible price. SeatGeek will actually show you if you're getting a good deal or not on whatever ticket it is that you're browsing. You're going to want to look for the green dots because green means good, red means a bad deal. Plus, tickets are backed by their buyer guarantee as well. And of course, you know that I came through for you guys because you can use code SANTI10 for 10% off your next set of tickets over at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code SANTI10. So make sure that you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so that you can use it later. Thank you again to SeatGeek for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get you back to the wrestling conversations that you came for. Next, let's talk about Bayley versus Sol Ruka. I think that this is a very telling match of a lot of things. I think, one, it shows WWE's respect and ability to be able to trust a Bayley in any and all sorts of situations, whether it's putting her in the tag team division, whether it's putting her in the mid-card and main event WrestleMania caliber matches like they did at WrestleMania 40, or even just using her to put over the future of professional wrestling. To me, that shows that Bayley is a master of many traits that WWE is willing to rely on, and relying on Bayley to help make Sol Ruka look as good as possible as she makes her first real singles debut in front of the biggest set of eyeballs that she's going to be in front of, I think, to me, really shows the respect that WWE has for Bayley in that regard. It's also very telling about Sol Ruka. I think many of us see Sol Ruka as the one that has the highest star potential out of many of the women that are in NXT at the moment right now. However, I think it's very interesting that they chose a Sol Ruka as opposed to their literal NXT women's champion that they have in JC Jane. I say that because they picked the men's NXT champion to be represented in this, and it's also interesting that they chose Sol Ruka over another one of their singles champions in Blake Monroe. So they had two singles champions that they could have showcased that were, I guess, in terms of NXT, a little bit more full of prestige because they have championship gold around them, and yet they still decided to go with Sol Ruka. That should tell you that WWE, even though they've yet to put a proper, NXT Women's Championship on Sol Ruka, they still see Sol Ruka as somebody having significantly more value than somebody like a JC Jane moving forward. Sol Ruka, almost similarly to Javon Evans, I think is going to be a game changer for the women's division. I think that she's going to become a cornerstone of WWE and women's professional wrestling in general. So I think they made the absolute correct choice, specifically picking Sol Ruka to be part of the show to represent the future of women's professional wrestling. And putting her against Bayley, I think to me is just a win-win all around. Don't get me wrong, I think there would have been more appetizing matches than Bayley versus Sol Ruka. I think Sol Ruka versus an Io Sky would have been probably a better in-ring match. Sol Ruka versus Rhea Ripley would have been a bigger draw, but I think Bayley is a really great just blank canvas for Sol Ruka to be able to work off from. So here's my prediction for this match. I predict that this one goes the way of NXT. I think that they give the win to Sol Ruka. They've trusted Sol Ruka to win things on the main roster before when she was part of the tag team division, and I think that this is going to be NXT's home run. I think that this is going to be the stamp of approval of the future of women's professional wrestling by giving Sol Ruka the win, considering that WWE themselves boast about how NXT has the best and the deepest women's division on the planet. I think you should probably really accentuate that by having the representative of said division win here. And there's nothing to win or lose here. This is really just an exhibition match. This does absolutely zero harm to Bayley at all whatsoever. The same is true vice versa. If Sol Ruka were to lose here, that doesn't hurt her at all in the slightest, if you ask me. Losing to Bayley doesn't hurt her at all. And Bayley is not necessarily on track to be vying for any women's world championships or anything like that. She's in the tag team division, so her losing a singles match to an up-and-coming Sol Ruka does nothing to damage the stock of Bayley. If anything, it probably increases the respect that many of the hardcore fans will have for her. So this one, I'm going to give it to NXT. I'm going to predict that Sol Ruka will walk away as the winner. Now, there are some story elements that could come into play. You've got all of the women that are in the women's tag team division that might get involved here, but that doesn't really make any sense. You have Zarya and Sol Ruka that kind of have their story going on, but to play that out on what is supposed to be this exhibition show doesn't make any sense either. The Zarya Sol Ruka storyline should be getting played out on NXT, so I'm expecting nothing in terms of shenanigans, just a clean match. Sol Ruka wins. Next up, we have what's being billed as champion versus champion. Cody Rhodes, the WWE Undisputed Champion, going up against Femi, the NXT Champion. So it's being advertised as champion versus champion. It's not being advertised as winner take all. I just want to clarify that. So this is not for the WWE Undisputed Championship. I don't think Cody Rhodes is going to walk out as the NXT Champion if he were to win. This is just a straight up exhibition match, about as exhibition match as it really gets, because Cody Rhodes and Femi quite seriously have zero history with one another. It might have been different had Ricky Saints won, because Ricky Saints and Cody Rhodes do actually have a tremendous amount of history with one another. In fact, there's stories that much of Ricky Saints, or formerly Ricky Starks' push in relationship with AEW started to deteriorate when his friend Cody Rhodes was in the main event of WrestleMania 40 and Ricky Saints went to go watch while he was a member of the AEW roster. And of course, they had matches with one another in AEW and they're friends and got plenty of history with one another. They could have done something there, but WWE decided to go with the blank canvas, which I think is the correct call here. Ricky Saints, and I don't think this is a controversial statement, is not the future of the WWE. Not because I don't think that he's going to be big or important on the main roster, but because he's deep into his 30s. Femi is the actual future of the WWE. This is a guy that's still in his 20s, that's still rising in the ranks, still getting better and better and better at everything regarding the world of professional wrestling. His aura, his presence, his mic work, his in-ring work, all of it continues to get better week by week by week. This is about as certain as lock of a guy as you can get since like a Braun Breaker. So if Femi really is this stronghold, this bastion of WWE's future, should he even be losing this match, even if he is going up against QB1, the face of the entire WWE at the moment in Cody Rhodes? It wouldn't be crazy to say that the NXT guy would lose to, the multi-time consecutive WrestleMania main eventer Cody Rhodes that seems to be able to beat anyone and everybody, but I still don't want to see Oba lose here. I want Oba to go into the main roster looking as powerful and as strong as humanly possible so that this guy can get the fastest push up the roster that you can possibly give him. And if his first major appearance in front of the live audience of WWE main roster fans is a loss, even if it is to Cody Rhodes, I think it can kind of damage that. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not thinking or saying that Femi should beat Cody Rhodes. That'd be pretty cool. In fact, that would be kind of full circle with everything that happened with John Cena in his career when Kevin Owens, as the NXT champion, came into the main roster and beat him. But I don't think that they're going to be retelling that. I think that, unfortunately, I hate to say this out loud, fellas, we're looking at a disqualification finish here. And I say that because we have Drew McIntyre in the wings. Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes are in the midst of their heated rivalry. They continue to attack each other when they're least expecting it. And I know that this isn't the show to advance storylines, but Drew McIntyre is such a big and important aspect of WWE storytelling right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if they'd like to showcase Drew McIntyre on this show that John Cena is retiring as well. To me, this will be the only match that has true shenanigans and won't have a real definitive winner. I'm really pumped for this match, but I'm just warning you to be disappointed by the result because everything that I'm seeing from the outside looking in is just screaming for this match to end in a disqualification at the hands of Drew McIntyre. So I guess that would make Femi the winner if Drew McIntyre attacks Cody Rhodes. Sure, I'll say that. Obviously, that then sets us up for more Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre stories, maybe for the first episode of Friday Night SmackDown, if they're planning on making that one a big episode, like they did a couple years ago, billing it as New Year's Revolution, or maybe as they go towards the Saturday night's main event in January, or maybe that's the championship match at the Royal Rumble. I don't know. But clearly, the next step here is obviously to continue to pursue that. I don't see Ricky Saints or Javon Evans or Tony D'Angelo getting involved in this. If they're willing to further a storyline, it'll be a main roster storyline, not an NXT storyline. By the way, if this is your first time seeing Femi, get ready. And then there's the main event, the retirement match of John Cena between John Cena and his final opponent, Gunther. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. John Cena, my GOAT, the greatest of all time, my favorite WWE superstar ever, is calling it a career, and it is my job here on this YouTube channel to predict who is going to win his final match. Now, I'm going to be very honest and very blunt with you. It's very possible that my prediction comes out of pure fandom and it is incredibly biased, so I encourage you to maybe watch other YouTubers as well to see what they predict. I think that the conventional ending to a retirement match is for the guy that is leaving to be looking up at the lights and to lose. I think many retirement matches ended that way in the WWE specifically. However, I do believe that we have a precedent, Your Honor, to maybe say that John Cena has a chance here, and that comes at the hands of the last mega icon to retire kind of recently, Sting, in AEW, AEW, who won his last match and retired even as a champion. So it wouldn't be completely out of the norm now to say that the guy retiring could win. And I'm leaning towards John Cena winning this match because of the narrative that's going into this match. This isn't just John Cena's last match anymore. This is now Gunther, the guy that makes people give up, trying to completely obliterate and nuke the legacy of John Cena, the guy that embodies hustle, loyalty, respect, and never gives up, by finally making him give up on his final match. And believe it or not, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see John Cena give up on his final match. Sure, now we can say, well, he doesn't have to give up. He could get pinned. I actually think that that's now out the window as a win condition for Gunther. If Gunther wins by pinning John Cena, I think that kind of counts as a loss to Gunther because he set out the expectation that I am this monster that makes everyone give up, and I wasn't able to make John Cena give up, so I had to take the easier route home, which is kind of crazy to say that Gunther in pinning John Cena could be seen as a bit of a loser in that scenario. But I genuinely see it as that way because Gunther has set his win condition as making John Cena give up. And I just in no world see John Cena and WWE making the decision to take this entire legacy of never give up, a legacy that now goes beyond professional wrestling and goes into like all of the stuff that he's done with like Make-A-Wish, for all of a sudden WWE to say, yep, he finally gave up. No, I refuse. I refuse to give up. I refuse to give up on John Cena, and I refuse to believe that this man is going to tap out, that he's going to pass out, that he's going to give up. I just don't see it. If they hadn't have created the narrative of Gunther wanting to make John Cena finally give up, then I'd actually probably be sitting here predicting Gunther as the winner. It'd be more of a traditional retirement match. But now that that's out into the ether, in the universe, the possibility of John Cena giving up, ain't no freaking way. And you guys already know I'm going to be there in attendance in person. I might actually break down in tears if John Cena gives up. I don't want to see that. And even if you think it is rational to predict that Gunther will make John Cena give up, I will not say that out loud. I refuse to put that out into the universe. I am willing to maybe even compromise the legitimacy of my predictions by just simply refusing to say that John Cena will give up. So I'm going to stand by my morals. I'm going to stand by everything that I believe John Cena stands for here, and I believe that he will not give up and John Cena will win his retirement match. Is this a silly prediction? Am I being a little bit too biased and emotional here? You goddamn right, but I'm not ashamed of it. So there it is. I'm going to predict that John Cena will win his final match in the WWE. Just one last moment of Super Cena. That's all we want in this retirement match. We've already seen him get his 17. We've seen him become Grand Slam. Now I just want to see the John Cena of old one more time, and then we can properly say goodbye. Now I do believe that there's going to be a lot more after John Cena's match. By the way, there's significant heavy rumors that are now backed up by more credible sources that John Cena's match is going to open. I think that that's just a bad idea in general. I think it's a bad idea because most people are going to be tuning into this specifically, and if it opens, a lot of casual fans are going to turn off the show and not continue to watch those that are supposed to represent the future. If John Cena goes on last, then it's going to force the more casual viewers to watch the whole thing and actually get to see Javon Evans and Ruka and Femi and Leon Slater. So I really hope that this match closes. But I do think that they're going to do a big, celebration like they did with Ric Flair. Maybe they do it on Monday Night Raw, but I think they're going to do it here. And I think we're going to get all kinds of names coming out. I think in a perfect world, we hear Edge's theme and he comes out and he says goodbye to Cena, but I'm not going to be as crazy as to predict that. But I do think that we're going to get the big moment, the big speech there at the end with every WWE superstar on the ramp coming out to applaud him and all of his best friends and rivals of the years coming into the ring to give him props and to say goodbye to him properly. All right, folks, we will leave it there. Again, don't forget, I will be at the show. So if you do see me, do not hesitate to come say hi. I will be vlogging the entire experience. So I would love to hear about what John Cena means to you in the vlog. That's it, folks. Take care. Goodbye. Get out of here.